Pleasant good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. ABC. This is Dr. ABC. I felt the need this morning to have somewhat of a conversation, a little bit of conversation, maybe 5 minutes of your time, to talk about the process of learning and unlearning when it comes to equity, diversity, and inclusion. I see a lot going on around us, and I see a lot of people requesting stuff around us. I see a lot of person desiring stuff around us. And it's happening so much that I believe that, my belief is always that when things are calm, because when we do better at what we do, we kind of be strategic in how do we move forward. So what is happening right now is valuable, important, significant, amazing. But also when this is over, how do we move forward in a strategic way? And my first mind I'm thinking of is policies and processes, and people have to really dig up those paperwork and fix them. And you and I know that paperwork is important in our offices, in our organizations, in our groups, in our schools, in our workplaces. And I just had an amazing meeting with someone I'm consulting with to do some work, some training for them. And I just want to share something to kind of center the conversation. So race right now is at the forefront of our conversation. And in the background, you can hear people saying, LGBTQ people saying, remember about us. We've been here. We've been here. I have had Asian teachers coming to me to say, Dr. Campbell, well, what about us? What's going on? The indigenous folks among us, it's been asking where we go with this. How do we become aware? How do they see us? And that goes to everybody else. The all the different groups around us, all the isms and the schism. I don't need to list them right now because that's not what that's not my intention here. But if you ask me, what is it that training does, and what is it that where's the value in training? Because some people said, F this training, we need to do this now. What is the purpose of training? I'm an educator, so that's what I propose. That's where I come from. I will call you out any day, but my job is to call you in. That's what I do. I get to do the calling, and I enjoy the calling, and I believe in the calling, and I believe in making sure that I hold you accountable. Because what I want to do is make sure you have the tools to hold you accountable. And so if you ask me, what is this really training in EDI about? In a nutshell, it is about growing all of us, every single one of us, growing in cultural competency. Whether we are teachers, whether we work in the store, a restaurant, a waiter, whether we are CEO, the director of finance, we are a pilot, we are a flight, whatever we are, whoever we are, how do we grow in cultural competence? And that training includes being aware of self and being aware of others, and then looking at the ways you can grow and the ways you need to grow. And it's not just about race and anti-Black racism, but it's about all the other isms and schisms. When I do training, I show you the diversity wheel, and you'll realize that race is one part of that wheel. But there's so many other parts of that wheel, so many other parts of that wheel that we are just not getting right. And that's why we are not spinning right. And that's why even if we are spinning out of control. Yes, I know I can be dramatic. That's important. And so why do we do all this? Why do you invest in training and development? Why do you invest in unpacking and unlearning and go to a workshop? It's more than papers. If you have been to my workshop, you will know you will not walk out with 10 sheets of paper, because people love paper. You like a paper. You like a 5-step and a 10-step. None of us are short of paper. The other day somebody asked me, Dr. Campbell, do you know any resources I could go to? And I literally go, are you serious? No, I did it. I honestly, I mean, I hope nobody's offended. I did it. I said, are you serious? Are you serious in 2020? Google. If you Google the word race, Google the word homophobia, Google the word, just Google, you'll find articles and good articles. And if you want, of course, I could teach you how to Google right, because some of you don't know how to Google right. So I look at scholarly articles, look at, reputable articles coming from sources that are engaged, not the hot topic, talking because I feel like talking today, but sources that have engaged in this work. How do we get those resources? And then it's about being intentional. Two examples of being intentional. I am celebrating today in my heart is I remember 3 years ago. 3 years ago, let me give you two examples before you go. I remember 3 years ago, I watched all the different articles out there about the lack of representation in UFT's in medical school, especially in the University of Toronto's medical school. And then I've been following. And I'm sure many persons have seen, if not, you could Google it. There's a picture of 24 new doctors, black doctors or doctors of color, who are going to be in University of Toronto Medical School come September. That's what you call action. So for all the other CEOs, CFOs, whatever kind of title you give yourself, the chairs and the deans and all of you people in HR who keep on pretending as if you don't know what to do, I hold you accountable. I hold you accountable. Some of you don't like this. I hold you accountable. Some of you have the best equity policies, and you and I know at the end of the day, when you go to your bed, put on your pajama, brush your teeth, spit it out, and jump in your bed, you and I know, genuinely that piece of paper was not genuine. It's a checkbox. Somebody wanted us, just like this week. Everybody's putting out a statement. Are statements important? Statements are important. The symbols are important. Statements are important. I can tell you from now. So don't be pissed at the statement. What we're pissed at is that you're stuck at the statement. So many of you are stuck at the statement. You're stuck at the autistic statement. You're stuck at the homophobic statement. You're stuck at the equity statement. You're stuck at the trans statement. You're stuck at the inclusion statement. You're stuck at the hiring statement. You're stuck at you are just stuck because you are not doing action. So what that School of Medicine did with having those students in their admission policy to fix it, that's action. And I'm going to say something very strong right now, so get it, because that's just me. Get it right. So many of you didn't have nobody to talk to. So many of you don't have any black person to talk with in your organization. You don't have any trans person to talk to. You don't have any LGBTQ, 2S LGBTQ plus persons. You don't have that person who is in a wheelchair, that person who is deaf, or that person who is marginalized. You know the reason why you're struggling to speak to someone? Because you didn't hire anyone. You didn't hire anyone. We keep on. I have personally sat down and I've examined the equity statement of universities. And I can tell you, you can Google them right now. I don't have to name any. Go Google them. You will see the word hiring and equity. You'll always see that. And look who they hire in the last 2-3 rounds. And you'll understand that it's pretentious. And of course, we are intelligent people. We can find a very good explanation why the white person got it. But here's what I want to share to you. If you had people who are candidates and they were good enough to interview, most of those persons are good enough to hire. You and I know that, unless you don't do good selection process, unless your selection process is not good enough, they're good enough to hire. But you have to make a deliberate statement. Like what the University of Toronto School of Medicine did, it was deliberate in giving 24 spaces to these people. And another one I want to look at is OCAD University. I saw the advertisement. I still have a copy of it when they were looking for black faculty. It was deliberate. And they followed through, because I've been following the story. And they hired 5 black faculty. The black dean there, Dory, I think, Dean Dory, I hope I get it, Dory Turnsell. Hats off to that kind of advocacy. Hats off to that kind of intentional, deliberate. So when you know, I have one of my theme, and I'm not changing. Don't you worry. If you ask me to speak about anything this month or the next month, you'll get me saying the same things because I'm not going to change my mouth. We have to stop pretending we are helpless and we are hopeless when we are not, when we are powerful. People in power and position, stop saying you're helpless and you're hopeless. It makes you look silly. As much as you are a CFO and a CEO, and you are the dean and the chair and the principal and the vice principal, the more you say that, the more you look silly and the more you look disingenuous and the more you look just wrong, because you are not. You know you are not. Your pen has ink in it that is powerful. You know that. You write policies. You change policies. You vote on policies. Don't you do that. That game we're playing, we have to stop. We have to be intentional. We have to be honest. We have to be genuine. We need to stop that. So in wrapping this up, because I wanted a few minutes, but I felt like I need to give you all of this. Why is the training important? And there are people who are silent right now, silent on many issues to do with equity. And some of you are silent because you are wrong. And that's why you're silent. You're ashamed. You're also silent because you don't care. That is a category of silence. You don't care. You don't care. And you're silent because you oppose. You oppose power and freedom. You oppose it. You oppose it. That's honest. But there are a group of you who are silent because you're fearful. And I get it. Because what we want to honor, or what I, Dr. ABC, want to honor, is that these conversations are courageous. They're not everyday conversations. These are not the ones you have quickly 5 minutes at Starbucks when you get your latte. With extra whipped cream, that is. These are courageous conversations that somebody has to have. And you need somebody to guide you. And that's what I do. I guide you in my workshops through these conversations. And then there's some of you who are so careful, you say nothing. I want to let you know I get it, but I have to help you. Let me help you move away from that. You can't be careful. Careful people have done nothing. I have gone to schools and I've had teachers genuinely say to me, I don't know what to do for Black History Month. I don't want to do the wrong thing. And I would hold their hands, whether they're white or black or anything in between. And I would say, doing nothing is the worst mistake. And then I would give them ways or share with them ways to do something. Most time I don't share with them. You know what I say? I say, go ask the Black person how they want to celebrate. It's like my birthdays. When my birthday comes up, if you ask me what I want for my birthday, I will always tell you. Always. Always. You ever meet somebody who you ask them what they want for their birthday and they have no idea? Oh, if you ask me, I have a list ready. I don't know where my list is somewhere. My birthday is in December. I sure my list is somewhere already. So ask people, how do I help you? Ask the indigenous people among you. Ask the Black people. Ask the Asian people. Ask the immigrant people. Ask the single mother people. Ask the Black kids. Ask the kids in the wheelchair how they want to celebrate it. Ask the kids who are autistic. Ask the girls with the hijab. Ask the Muslim women. Ask those persons and hear what they say, and then honor that, because we have to start. And the last thing I want to do before I wrap this up in this quick 15 minutes, I think I'm going to go 16, is we cannot not do anything. There's an urgency. There's an urgency. And the urgency is because people are affected and infected by this. Why do I do this work? Other than that, I am employed in this area, but I also chose this. Remember, my PhD is in lead. I have a person ask me about work and advocacy. I chose advocacy with my work. I could have been that teacher that walks out the classroom every day and go about my business to live my best life. I do live my best life. I could be that person who said, I'm not involved. You know, I tell you this story because if you know me, there's a story. So how could I dare let you go without a story? I remember when I went to RBC Bank to get my mortgage discussion. I remember the blatant microaggression that happened to me in that bank of Bathurst in North York. And that blatant microaggression was coupled with an unconscious bias, because a black man walking in a big coat, I had a hat on, I had my boots on, my sweatpants. I sat down, I asked important questions because the person was late, way late to see me, and nobody cared that the person was late. How dare me ask, where is the person? And then people also of color, I want to make sure you understand this. In that microaggression were persons who were white, but also persons of color. Why do you say that, Dr. ABC? Why do you point that out? Because many of us are wired to do this. We don't even realize the damage we do because we are wired to do the damage. We are wired to look at those persons as guilty. We are trained to look at those persons as guilty. And that is what happened with the police. I wish I could sit in a room to talk to policemen, to say to them, this is how you are wired. And somebody has to get in and unwire that. So the way you approach a car with a black man, you are wired to do that. You have to unwire that. And how I know you can? How I know you can? Because you don't do it to everyone. Okay? So, and in closing, my job and all the other people out there in the world who do this kind of work of unpacking and calling out and calling in, is we offer you tools. Don't worry. I know there are people saying, oh, I don't believe in that. People must invest in their own learning. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I teach you to invest in your own learning. And I will give you examples of how, as a black man and an immigrant to Canada, how I invest in my own learning to learn about Indigenous people and First Nations. I invested in my own learning. And I'm investing in my own learning every day. I invested in my own learning to learn about trans women. I have sat down with black trans women to say, talk to me. And I don't force. We have coffee, we have conversations. They are my friends. Because another mistake we make is we grab people to sit us and teach us. Don't do that. So there are tools you can have. There are tools you can use. And yes, I will say this without contradiction. And I say this to everybody who feel like people need to, there are people you have to teach how to use tools. People you have to orientate. Maybe that's the word I should use. Orientate you how to use the tools. Because I can tell you, I have a toolbox because I'm a homeowner. So I was encouraged to have a toolbox. I have a toolbox. You know where I'm going to go with this. There are many things in it. I don't know what it's used for. So let me tell you something. I don't play those games with people. Yeah, you tell people, go find the tools, go learn, go unlearn. I get it. But I also realize there's a space for learning. That's why we have schools. And I'm going to say something quite maybe surprising to you, that there are people you need to teach how to learn. Or some of us need to learn how to learn. And so, yes, I absolutely am promoting my workshops. I am absolutely promoting my EDI coaching. I am absolutely promoting what I can do for you as an individual, for you as a school, for you as an organization, for you as a club, an association, a group of people. The other day I did a workshop for a football club. A football group, way before this I started, a group of football players say to me, Dr. Campbell, let's talk about LGBTQ issues and discrimination within our sports. How do we talk about it? And I had that workshop, I remember, in a sports bar. In a sports bar. So we can unpack this in many spaces, in many ways, and reach out to me. Reach out to me. Find me at DRABC.CA. Find me at DRABC.CA. Reach out to me. I'm ready to work with you as an individual as a group, as a school, as an organization, as an association, as a book group. A lot of people are reading. Some of your book club need somebody to talk to help you unpack. Let me help you unpack. Let me help you unpack in your book club. Let me help you unpack in your tea club. Oh yes. Let me help you unpack in your groups, in your associations, in your committees, at your board level, at every level, with your waiters. Let's meet and unpack with your waiters. Let's meet and unpack with your PSW. So much happening. And that's what I have to offer. But also, more than offering, I hope you realize I left the offer to the end. So the offering at the last end. I hope that the other 18 minutes of this video would have assisted you in just a spoonful. That's my little word. I love to talk about a spoonful. Because some of us, only a spoonful could have helped some of us. If only we had taken that spoonful, some of us would have been better today. That spoonful of tonic, of medicine, that spoonful to help you. Spoonful of worm medicine, eh? All right, so have a wonderful day, everybody. As I always say to you, on whatever level I meet you at, whatever space I meet you in, whatever level, whether it's a doctor level or we just chatting out on the corner. Love and blessings, everyone. Love and blessings. Looking forward to chat with you. Love and blessings.